wrap.
Holy shit, Batman? Is that what I think it is? Yes, it is, a shitcast. Sorry for the delay in this next installment to this ongoing and unfortunate franchise, which is this series of casting. Been quite busy, various drastic changes, though temporary ones, to my schedule and work. So I'm going to have to adapt for a little while, but should be able to kick this off still while the month is fresh. However, as you might have noticed already, we don't have the atypical low-tier players. In fact, even those who are 2K within the annals of history can reach this low level of quality in gameplay, although we'll be the judge of that once we see this kick off. We have Paralon, 1934 as his rating, going up, well, as Seraphim, going up against Death Squad, a 2001 ladder rated. And these are some very typical build orders. This is pretty much the reason I'm kicking it off. Seraphim Glaciers has some build orders that are going to be strenuously slow. This map doesn't really kick off all that quickly until some things start going off with potential transport rushes and the likes, inties perhaps, to try to airlock the other player. But we'll see how this runs down. Each player by now should have their air factories up. Parlon's going to have his coming up first. Oh boy. A huge map like this, you've got a huge theater going on, especially with Cyber Navy and Zooies involved. This should be a spectacle. Although right now, as it would appear, both players intend to utilize the latter option I mentioned for inties, most likely to try to deny each other's expanding transports, though unfortunately, neither are going to do that. Not when both of them are rushing inties and not transports. So they're just kind of floating around aimlessly. Although, oh dear, there's the scouts there and there's the inties. As soon as they spot the transport, it's pretty much donezo for that little guy. No amount of micro is really going to save that transport, not when they're streaming in like this. If he's able to preemptively keep his inties in front, he could stop that, but unfortunately not. That transport gets picked off. And there's some of Paralon's scouts down here which likely have spotted that transport. And a bomber already out for Death Squad. Is he going to go straight towards the base? Well, that is just something, isn't it? He certainly knows he's onto him. By God, we might have a rat in our midst. 3 of those go down. Unfortunately, the other 3 shall not have it any better. Ooh. A sign of dominance, where your opponent decides to bomb your transport. Not even the engineers. Because certainly could have killed a lot of those, but unfortunately that isn't going to be the case. Paralon is very slow with his expanding engineers. He's got this one on the way about the same time here, but Death Squad had already sent an engineer earlier on to get here, so he's got a definitive lead in mass and energy for that matter. On a map like this, it tends to scale pretty hard. Oof. But he did manage to successfully drop with some engineers, though there are many more on this island. They're going to be spamming quite a bit. I don't have high hopes that Paralon could be able to wrestle this away from his grip. Death Squad has already have this under control. No contest whatsoever. Though Paralon's going to be able to get this center island at least. Could have dropped a couple more to get, or just one more just to get that factory up sooner. No doubt Death Squad, yes, is on the way with his own. He's going to have to deal with that quickly, get some tanks or Zooies to counteract. And the first set is rolling out. And there's the Zooey spam. The inevitable contingency when it comes to Seraphim on such a map like Seraphim Glaciers. Who'd have fucking thunk? And there goes those NGs, who are unfortunately going to get blapped. Oh dear. Getting bopped in the lip with some nasty Zooey shells. This is a gone, done effort. Just gonna have to reinforce this so that Navy and Air don't become a further hassle. He could certainly ferry some transports over to overwhelm the spot and even drop directly towards his main island. There's a lot of tanks for Death Squad up here as well. The air control seems to be leading towards Death Squad. Is Paralon going to send his ACU up there? He no doubt should use that to at least get some factories started here. Maybe to further bolster his production. He has no engineers up here. They're all dead. They're a goner. So he needs to build more. And if he wants to use his ACU, he better use it carefully. There's just way too many units pouring out of these factories. There goes some transports. Transports everywhere for that matter. Paralon's got some factories building directly from there. And Death Squad has some here. There's some raiding going on in various spots. Oh, those tanks. Gonna go right in. It's not gonna be an easy contest or an effort for Paralon to win it back. But I am mildly concerned with where he's putting his ACU. He pretty much has no access to retreat to the water, and he is really far up here when there's so many tanks. And Zooies are just pouring everywhere. Already they've come and zuckled this little bad bitch here. They've come for the data. And oh dear. As if having a sixth sense for it, Death Squad is already pouncing on his prey. He does have PD up here though. He can certainly protect it. But when this happens, oh, those Zooies are a gracious gift indeed for the Seraphim. Oh, but he's dropping below 2k health. Yikes. That is cutting it deep there. The tanks are not... He's still going. Look at how far he has to go. Christ, that was not a good idea. It's cutting it way too close. And by now, certainly, both of these players have gotten some T2 power by now. They're already spammed a ton of T1. Death Squad has gotten to T3 air with his. And I think Paralon is behind. Yes, he's only getting his second T2P gen. At least the requirement to get the T3 HQ upgrade. There's just, oh my lord. Look at the map here. Nearly every square inch is covered by some floaty bastard of reptilian proportions. Oh my. For goodness sake. They are just spread out and affecting everything they come across. Look how much damage they've dealt already. potential T2 mexes those could have been. And they're harassing here. They're starting to flank around and try to deal with the factory production. They haven't quite punched through, but they're about to, with those Medusa coming up. Oh, there's a lot of bombers, actually. He's got a ton of T1 air factories. Doesn't have T3, though. Death Squad is going to be working on getting that P-Gen, T3 P-Gen up. Well, this is turning out to be more of an interesting game than I thought. Could there possibly be anything shitty worth casting here, huh? Who knows? I guess we haven't gotten around to finding out. There's just Zooies and engineers, surprisingly, just waddling in every part of the map. Corsair and Torps, no doubt, intending to see if he can snag that ACU that barely escaped his clutches. The air engagements have been mildly timid as far as I could tell. Although he's going to engage with this now, try to fight off and get his lead in. While his opponent has T3 air, or still early on, he's still probably, yep, he's just about finished that T3 P-Gen. Whittled down almost all of his production. Well, not all of it, but he's starting to apply some pressure now. Paralon has won that engagement. There's still just so many Zooies flowing in and out of different directions here. And Zooies have just been crossing and finding ways to become a fucking nuisance, as they always are. What a gracious gift of God they are. You can always count on these. And look at how efficiently they do their job. Wow. And pretty much that exterminates everything that Death Squad already had up here. The combination of bombers and Zooies somehow is enough. And wow, both have T3 air now, although he does have significant air numbers in inties, and both are going to send their strats across. This is kind of looking bad for Death Squad, but oh jeez, there goes all of Paralon's power. Christ almighty. And ooh jeez, this might be an even exchange here if he can pick off that T3 P-Gen, for which he is definitely about to. Oh jeez, mutual destruction on both ends. This island is at least under control now for Death Squad, but he's lost the lead over here. And oh my god, even the HQ has gone down. It was at least an even playing field when they both lost their T2 power, and he lost, yes, he lost every bit of power here. Lost T3 P-Gen and T2. Still has T1 P-Gen, so that's why you don't quite reclaim them that early on. But he's going to try and, oh, he's going to lose that strat though. The score is about even though. Death Squad definitely has more mass, just in due turn to the fact of having this island and denying Paralon's control over the main one up there. The Paralon Zooies are just finding a way through every crevice of Death Squad's ass cheeks. He's just making sure that he bleeds for it. Unfortunately, Paralon has lost his T3 HQ. He has no tech whatsoever. He's lost his capability to build, as far as I could tell, T3 engineers. My god. Because he has no T3 engineers whatsoever, for a fact. And there goes his efforts yet again. He's lost. That was his T2 engineer. Bruh. Bruh is right. What the fuck? And Zooey is still just, what? is... He just does not have a handle on this lid. The tea kettle is just overflowing to the brim with fury. The fury of... Oh, jeez. Man, they're building some flak to try to defend. Lost those T2, T3 engineers. Small price to pay for salvation. Death Squad has lost pretty much almost everything. He's losing every bit of his expansion here. He's barely got a grip on this. He may have control over it, but he has no navy. Nothing to counter the residual incoming flow of Seraphim firepower in these fucking little buggers. They never stop shooting. And Cybran Frigs are quite the nice counter to Zooies, especially the good rate of fire and damage. Death Squad is losing pretty much everything, but he does have his T3 P-Gen up, and he's scouting around looking for the opportunity to catch Paralon's ACU, which Paralon has actually done for himself. I think he is unfortunately, oh my goodness, even though he is collapsing on every front here, will Death Squad notice where the ACU has been hiding? This is collapsing very slowly, and he's begun losing all of his build power and factories. And there it goes. What in the fuck was this lunacy? Kakner, absolute cancer. Well, Kakner is certainly the alternative way to put it, Death Squad, but that was fairly entertaining. At least for a procast, this is not too shabby. Of shit tier, maddening, make you just bawl and cringe of what the fuck is going on. But that was fun. It was actually very difficult to say towards the end. Paralon was looking very hefty in just his continual pressure throughout the game. But Death Squad had the right units for the situation. Well, certainly didn't have the right air coverage to defend his power initially from a strat bomber. But in the end, he was still able to build torp bombers and a strat and some scouts and rebuild his T3 P-Gen, whereas, unfortunately, Paralon just lost his HQ, lost the engineers. They were all clumped up here. There is nothing but a smoldering just mark on the ground from where they once stood. Oh, Christ. Well, that was very entertaining. Good shitcast. Goes to show that this isn't all about picking on the little guys. This is everyone's game. You got some hilariously bad replays? Send them in. I'm an expert in that because, you know, well, you can go through my replays and I assure you, you will find plenty of shitcast-worthy material. Alright, well, I've blabbered long enough. Hope you guys enjoyed, and we'll see you in the next installment of wherever I'll be going with that. Alright, take care, guys.